Hello everybody! Yeah, SeKo Drinkcraft here having himself a stone fruit cider, peach and apricot flavor. Why not? Good luck, have fun, God, because this is Flash down here in the center up against MC. It is actually a rematch. This is from the group stages of IEM Toronto. So this is the second series these guys played in the group stages. Yeah. With MC taking the first one, actually in pretty good form. So we'll see what God himself will do to, go back against this. Yeah, I love watching MC because you're probably not going to find a more confident Starcraft player. I think he is the most, or close to the most, earning Starcraft 2 player in history. He's up there. He's done very well, and he's managed to stay relevant for quite a long time when a lot of other players have fallen off. And to see him at this level, playing this good at IEM Toronto is quite the treat. I didn't actually get to watch this series when it happened, so this will be the first time I'm watching it with you guys, and hopefully it's something new and exciting for you guys as well. The other reason I like MC is because he's not afraid to also do whatever build just seems to strike him at the time. Solid in the early game, has some great mid-game strategies, and obviously with his experience, awesome in the late game. He's going to go off for a pretty early scout, not a bad move. And our Terran player is actually going to go CC first, low ground, against MC. Now that's, if you watch a lot of Flash games, you see that this is pretty common. He loves his macro, he loves to be able to take greedy openings if he has the option to. And happily for him, MC is scouting the wrong way, otherwise he might have been able to bugger this up a little bit. This is a pretty good map for going CC first. Pretty long rush distances, obviously 3 spawning points. Means there's a good chance you're going to get away with this. Gateway is already finished up. It's rallied across. I wonder if he's going to make his loot. Yes, he is. So we'll see if this can do anything. I mean, the barracks, 2 barracks are on the way. This barracks is already halfway done. But if you've ever played Protoss against a Terran, you just send your first Zealot across. It's surprising how well you can do. For people in the amateur leagues, try that out. It works surprisingly well. I don't even micro that Zealot. I just run him across the map, and you'll get 2 or 3 Marine kills, an SCV or 2. Actually works out quite well. So now, MC scouts the opening, sees that he's a bit behind. Nexus will go down, obviously quite later than the Terran's second base. But he will be able to get out a Mothership core here pretty quick, send that across, and be a bit of a bugger with it as well. There is the bunker going down, and I think that's very smart. I thought I saw something for a second there. It is actually... Did he cancel the Zealot? Yes, he did. Which is probably smart. It allows him to get out the rest of his buildings faster. By the time the Zealot got down here, this would probably have been done, and it had just been a waste of 100 minerals. I think Terran players, especially opening up with a macro focus, should never skip this bunker. A Mothership core Stalker and a Zealot can just win the game outright if you don't do something like this. I can't tell you how many games we play against Terrans who don't go for this bunker, and you essentially just walk over them. It's rather weird. Still no gas out of our Terran player here. Might actually... 3 racks opening. Now, for those like me who've watched a lot of Flash games, you see that his style has really become to go for the really fast, early bio pressure. It's surprising to see that he might be going for that without gas, because he'd like to have a Marauder or 2 in there. But you just go across, try to get as much damage as possible against the greedy opening Protoss. Problem is, the Terran opened more greedy than the Protoss player did, so I'm not thinking that's going to change stuff. I was wondering if he was hiding his Marines, but he's just keeping these in a position to be able to react if an Oracle was to come in. Mothership Cores down here hasn't gotten a kill yet. But he does not want to lose that under like any circumstance. Such an expensive unit. So he's just going to jump around with it. He does have a time warp and a recall. But you want to be able to save that energy for the photon overcharge in case the early bio pressure comes out. Now MC hasn't scouted that this is the follow-up from the Terran. It is very important, doesn't matter if you're a Zerg or a Protoss, to be able to look and see, has my opponent gone for a 3cc build? Or has my opponent gone for pressure? Now MC is going for an ultra-fast 3rd Nexus. The Terran player didn't scout that, but he did see the probe going over there. So I wonder if he'll make his way back around to scout that. We'll be able to get through here just fine. No tech spotted just yet. We'll see if he actually can get back around to that other base. Looks like he will get zapped. Zap. Ooh. Maybe he'll get away. Probes try to get it. 1 hit point left. Oh, sorry, 1 attack left. And it might actually get home with that. Stalkers are going to try and hunt these downs. Another scout here. You actually see this as somebody like the Flash of old playing Brood War. Always running around with SCVs. Always wanting to know what's going on. His vision is what really is going to be able to allow him to succeed in this game. And he's sure enough going to be able to spot this base. He spotted that base, right? Yes, he did. So he should be able to react accordingly. Command center is going down, but he's got a good chunk of bio. And obviously seeing that Nexus, he's not too afraid of an Oracle play. +1 on the way. This guy's going to get home, surprisingly enough. Lots of sentries out here. Robo is on the way along with some more gateways here. And if we look at the units tab, just look at the economy. Protoss player's doing pretty good. He's got a bit of a lead on workers. Obviously there's mules to compensate. But this is, you almost never get away with this on ladder. It's so unlikely that you're just going to, I'll take a fast 3rd Nexus with no army. But at this level, when you know what your opponents are doing and the style of builds they like to play, bit of a supply block for both players, you should be able to get away with it a bit better. Now there's a lot of Protoss out here. Terran is going to have stim in time, but this is just straight up meat. There's no actual Marauders in here, no medevacs, straight meat. Now if there was a photon overcharge, which there will be, this attack should get shut down, but because Flash was scouted, he's just going to pull back. I think that's smart. Losing all this bio, which he could have very easily done with the force fields, would have put him in a pretty tough spot. Couple Marauders making their way out now. First medevacs are just starting. And we should have this command center in position in just a moment. So this kind of light aggression from Flash is giving him the opportunity to go for his own 3rd base. But I'm sure MC feels pretty safe at this point here. Got the photon overcharge, a bunch more gates happening, and Blink's about to finish. And MC is amazing at Blink. Double takeout on observers. Pretty nice little snipe there. Observer's pretty important. You really want to know. Wow, I am glad I caught just the tail of that. 12 kills on those Widow Mines. Did he just make the 2? Yeah, he just made the 2 Widow Mines, and they turned out really well. Is there an Observer getting boosted? There it is. I'm pretty sure these will get taken out before they can shoot again. And it's still a pretty good little drop, though. I don't mind that. Particularly at this stage of the game, sometimes delayed attacks like that do so much damage because they're usually rush attacks. You usually do them really early on to try and get yourself an early lead. But doing them kind of in this early mid-game is just a little surprising. Does get the Observer out of range of that scan. Once again, there is Blink available. Stims in. Pretty good force fields there. Good control out of Flash. Trying to pull some of his army over to the right. With having down those Guardian shields, though, this Bio Army is doing way less damage. Zealot's going to come in here, and it looks like this is going to get cleaned up. Pretty good micro to Flash, but losing these medevacs is going to suck. He's going to stay and fight, but you see the Blink micro is doing pretty good. So many hurt Stalkers in there, just a little bit more bio. You actually probably would have got it. I'm surprised he hasn't sent his army out to try and chase some of these Stalkers. He does not want to lose the medevacs. Too expensive. Particularly as he's got to move into getting Vikings. 4 medevacs at a time, actually. He's going to be doing alright. Scans. Should know that there's Colossus on the way. More Vikings in production. +1 armor is about to finish. Does he have his armory down? More barracks. I don't think he does. I don't know if he's in a position to move into 2-2, where his opponent is actually moving along pretty good. Upgrades, G. Oh wow. Protoss player's actually a little bit behind on those upgrades. Sorry, kitty cat. Don't got any room for you right now. Observers swinging around the map, just trying to figure out what's going on. Handful of Zealots going to go for a run by. Flash is usually pretty good at having a bunker down over here. A little surprised that he doesn't at the moment. Zealot run bys. Once a player gets into the mind to do like Zealot run bys or drops, Zergling run-bys. They're just going to keep doing it, particularly if it has any effect the first time around. The Marine's just scouting for any pylons. 0-0's out, so for some reason I thought he was already on to his next level upgrades. Terran's actually going to have a pretty good lead on upgrades. If he does get down, I think the Armory. I don't think he's got one yet. Ghost Academy on the way, 3 Vikings at a time. Sitting pretty good. Slightest of supply leads. The observer sees that the army's out of position, so I'd expect these zealots to move in pretty soon. The wall is finished now. Small little gap. And this is sometimes smart. You'll see that zealots sometimes wig out on the pathing, and then they don't actually get a full run around to that. Smartly, MC is going to target around the zealots, so that way they'll get maximum effect. Was going for target farming on that zealot. Almost gets another one there, not quite. Factory chilling on this side. I love watching Widowmine play against Protoss, but as soon as they go into Colossus, pretty difficult to really make that effective. If you see a Protoss player not going Colossus, go into Widowmines. Oh man, they work out well. +2 armor, +1 attack on the way. Scan sees the army. Very important to click on the army and see what the upgrades are when you get the opportunity. He sees that he's got an upgrade lead. He's got a lot of Vikings in the air, so I think he might want to take this fight. Storm is not done yet. This is where he's going to be the strongest. Not quite enough to one-shot Colossus. Stalker's doing a good job focusing down a lot of the Vikings overhead, but now all the splash damage is gone besides the Archons here. Storm's going to be done in just a moment, but I don't think there's any High Templars nearby that can cast any. Lots of Zealots, big meat shield. The upgrades aren't quite finished yet for the Protoss player. +2 attack is on the way. Ooh, there we go. So he's got to be doing something at this point. Flash is way too good to just be sitting around doing nothing. Looks like he's going to focus down the Nexus with a part of his army here. That went down so fast. There's a lot of his army right here, though. Actually gets out with all the medevacs. That is very impressive. That is one wigged out battlecruiser down there. Does it look like a face to anybody else? Eyes, nose, mouth. Kind of a bad O face on the back of a battlecruiser. Great attack by Flash. Taking a supply lead, taking a base lead, an economy lead. Has all of his tech out to +3 attack. 4 ghosts at a time. We'll see if the Protoss player is going to be able to catch up or take a lead in upgrades. He's got the double forge down. There's just the single engineering bay right now for our Terran player. No Archons in this mix. So no Archons. There's no Colossus in this mix, which is probably good because there's only 6 Vikings right now in this composition. Great! EMP smokes those 2 High Templars. Zealots are melting at the front here. Here come 2 storms from the back. Not a bad storm. That one kind of whips. Supplies are both dipping for each of them. Vikings are getting on top of this Colossus here. And they will get it in time. Second Robo going down, and we're moving into double Colossus production in a second. Supply is about the same right now. Let's look at the income tab for these guys here. Terran player doesn't need as many units mining, so he's going to have a bit of a larger army. His income's a bit less right now. Focused a bit more on that gas. That's going to be my next thing to say is when is his next base happening? And it's going down right now. Very smart. And this pressure from Flash has made MC just stay at home. We haven't been able to see any more Zealot run-bys. Any other kind of crazy attacks. No Warp Prism. A Warp Prism dropping into the base is just such an annoyance. I love running in the Warp Prisms, dropping it, warping a bunch of Zealots, head out. Because usually you can afford the minerals, then you can use the gas for your High Templars and Colossus. That Marine got just messed up. Looks like a drop was maybe going to happen, but there's already units in position. Particularly with some of these medevacs beat up and the energy on them, they would just get one-shotted by the feedbacks. Very, very dangerous. Finally, some more Zealots on the way around. Might actually be able to get some damage in over here. See, these Zealots are just wigging it out. Actually, they're going for the other base, which has already got defenses. 4th base on the Protoss, about 3/4 done. Pretty good army over here. It's up to 2 Colossus. He's got another 2 going. Lots of Viking production happening right now. I don't think the Colossus are broken necessarily, but it's almost impossible to deal with Colossus as a Terran player any other way than with the Vikings. I mean, if you're really good, you can go for medevac drops behind and stuff like that, but it's so risky. And the problem is the Vikings are so one-sided. They're not really going to help that much. Even if you land them, they're not really going to do that much on the ground. +2 attack is going to finish up pretty quick for them here. So we'll see if they're going to be able to do enough in this battle. It's just not a lot of them with this army. I'd love the idea of landing that over here and just making Widow Mines. Just some cockbaggery. Have a bit of fun with it. High Templar on the high ground here. Gets 1 feedback on a ghost. Observer goes down. There's a lot of ghosts in the front of this here. Going up the ramp is very difficult. You gotta be able to see how many High Templars. There's 3 in here, but none with enough for Storm. They were just warped in. Some random Zealot pressure. I'll actually do a bit of work here. Terran army is coming home to deal with that. He's maxed out. The beauty of fighting against somebody who's maxed out is they don't have the ability to make more army and actually, you know, build stuff at home and help out. Protoss player swinging into position. Colossus, I think, can hit this from the low ground. It should be a nice pickup. The Marauder's going to get sliced and or diced. A nuke on the way. We did see a nuke just finish up. I didn't notice that right away. A very, very lucky observer. Not so lucky anymore. Yeah, watch that Viking cloud. Very easy to lose that. Does MC know? Oh, he just figures it out at the last second there. Now, upgrades-wise, it's 3-3 for the Protoss, 3-1 for the Terran. So the Zealots are going to do real good work if they get on top of the army. Another nuke in production. Good snipes. Take out that. Another Zealot. You can see what I was talking about before. All the units are kind of wigging out, not being able to get in. Snipes going off. There's only 1 Storm in this army right now. He's just going to sack this base. He's actually swinging around from the other side. I don't know about this. He's just sending in the Vikings. He doesn't care. He's going to lose almost all of them here. But now his bio's got nothing to contend with it. No Storms, no Colossus. He's just going to wipe out the entire Protoss fleet of ground army there. There's actually a planetary here. I didn't notice that. Another base is going down. Double Colossus. Even the shield upgrade's happening. But unfortunately, there's just not an army. And actually, some of these Vikings lived. They're pretty beat up. A +3 attack is on the way for them. Another base floating over will become another planetary. Flash not skipping a beat on his late game. 4 Vikings at a time. This is an interesting army. I love this style of army. Mass Zealot and Storms. It's just that late game, super late game Protoss. I've got minerals and gas. I gotta blow them in big, big pieces. Let me just go for straight up huge Zealot. He's probably gonna have to cancel this and lift it. Yeah, it does not want to lose that investment. Big pile of Zealots coming through, and so well upgraded as well that these Zealots pose quite a bit of threat to this bio, even with not much backing it up. Storms and Colossus, that's pretty heavy. Ghost's Cloak. You see the hotkeys right now from Terran player. He's got all of his ghosts on 1 hotkey. It's going to be easy to pull off EMPs and snipes. Colossus is going to get sniped out of the air super fast. I'm surprised he even made Colossus. There's no stalkers. There's nothing to deal with the air. Just 2 random Colossus going to fly to their death. That's probably GG. I mean, he is attacking the planetary down here. It's being repaired. So many snipes. Pretty good Storm. But, yeah, I'm very surprised he invested into those 4 Colossus when he had nothing to contend with the air army. There's no stalkers. I mean, there's a couple of Archons, maybe some Storms around, but that's just not enough. It's so expensive to go to Colossus. GG, MC taps out. Good game. But this is game number 1 of a best of 3. We'll have the next game for you guys in just a moment.